tutorials. Being a man, or the standards of to be a man. I talk about a lot of different things about how to be a man and whatnot, right? The Modern Man tutorials to teach the ways of being a man, but we need a standard. That way you know what a man is supposed to be, right? And I'll make one for women later. So, 5 things. There's probably more, obviously, but these are the 5 basic things to be a man. Emotional control. That's 1. 2, problem solver. 3, being logical or skillful, right? Smart. 4, tough or strong, right? Physically, mentally. And 5, a teacher, a leader. So those are the 5 basic things, at least minimum, that you need to be a man, right? You could say also, biology, having a penis and being old, yeah. But being a man is more than just your biology. It's also your mentality. It's a combination of your biology with your mentality, right? The reason an iPhone works the way it works is because it has the operating system for it, right? If you put an Android operating system in an iPhone, it won't work like an iPhone, logically. So it's the same thing with being a man, right? Being the male species. If you have feminine traits, feminine mindset, while you're in the body of a male, you're not going to really be a man, right? Because you're not utilizing the fullness of your biology, which is you're biologically male. Same goes for a female, right? For a woman. If you're not fully using the full capabilities of your female body, then you're not really being a woman, right? You're limiting yourself. So being a man is your final form as the male species. Being a woman is the final form of being a female species. This is why I use the term, men and males to separate the two, and women and females to separate the two. And then when I talk about men and males in general, I say guys. And when I talk about women and females in general, I say ladies, right? Because we need that distinction. We can't go around here talking about men are doing bad things, but men are also awesome in the same sentence. That doesn't make sense. You can't be both. And this idea of like, oh yes you can. No you can't. You're one or the other. You're either a good person or you're not. You're one or the other, right? And the thing is, you should be choosing one over the other. You should be choosing to be a good person instead of a bad person, right? Logically. So the fact that we have, and you could look at it as a grouping thing or whatever, category, whatever. But I don't like it when I hear stuff about like, oh, men are liars, men are cheaters, men do bad, illegal sexual things, and blah, 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 and all this negativity. Men commit crimes. Men fill up, jails and this, that, and third, and the list goes on. It's like, no, those aren't men. Those ain't qualify as men. Because 1, I don't do any of those things. I'm not in jail, right? I haven't done anything illegally sexual to a female, right? To a woman, right? So, no, you can't say that men are this. It can't be. You're saying all these negative things, and that doesn't apply to every male. That only apply to a certain portion, a small group of males, right? The minority. Because let's say the prisons have 2,000 people, like let's say we got 30,000 guys in jail, but there's 1.5 billion guys who are not. You can't say that the 1.5 billion guys and the 30,000 guys in jail are the same. You can't say, oh yeah, they're all men. Nope, they're males, yes, but they're not men, because the ones in jail clearly made bad decisions, clearly did things wrong. They're doing things that the 1.5 billion guys or men didn't do, or don't do, or know better than to do. So the ones who did the wrong things, you can't put them in the same group as the ones who didn't do something wrong, right? You can't say that everybody's a criminal. No, these people over here are criminals, and these people over here are not, right? These people are good, these people are bad, right? These people are right, these people are wrong. It's very important to know the difference, right? I always use the concept of the analogy of 2 sides of the same coin. So men and male. It's two sides of the same coin. Women, females, two sides of the same coin. Just because a guy, is a guy, he has a penis, he's old, right? He's in his 20, 30, whatever, doesn't mean he's a man. He has to have the mentality of a man. He has to live up to a certain standard, right? He has to live up to certain rules. This is how we can tell the difference between somebody being civilized and not civilized, right? Somebody who's civilized follows rules. Somebody who's not civilized don't follow rules, right? Somebody who's, it's not that different from like a culture, right? Where you can tell somebody is not from where you live because they talk, behave, even dress differently. So you could tell, like, okay, you're not from around here, right? Clearly, you're different. So you're not gonna look at them and be like, oh, we're the same, right? It's the same thing as we had aliens come down here, right? We have other life forms from other planets, other galaxies, come here to Earth and start interacting with us. We're not gonna be like we're the same. Like, no, we're different. And difference is good because this is how we can tell each other apart. Differences, spice of life, and it helps us, makes life more interesting. It'd be boring if everybody was the same, right? So we're all different in different ways. But the main thing is, when you want a man, right? When you talk about what a man is and what not a man is, the opposite of not a man is a male, right? Because anything could be a male. A lion, a tiger, a fish, a bird can be a male, but not a man. These animals cannot be a man, because being a man, being a woman, right, is exclusive to the human race. Which is why the idea that a guy is like, well, I'm a man, I got a penis, I'm a man. They're like, no, you're a male. Yes, you're the male species of the human race, but you're not a man. A man is a mindset. It's a behavior trait, right? Just like if you think about religion, right? You think about the 10 Commandments, right? The 10 Commandments pretty much gives you a blueprint of how to be a decent human being. Let's come up with a name for it. Let's say holy, right? So you can't say just because we exist, right? We're on this planet, that we are holy. Right? We're not. Especially if you're sinning, right? Doing bad things and stuff like that, doing the opposite of the 10 Commandments, you can't say you're holy, right? The 10 Commandments is the definition of holiness, right? So if you do everything that's on that list, right, on those 10 Commandments, then you will be holy because you are living up to that standard of that list, right? So that's how you are defined. Just like if you say somebody's a doctor, them knowing how to be a doctor, right? Them having the knowledge and the experience of being a doctor and the mindset of a doctor and the skill set of a doctor, that's why we call them a doctor, right? You wouldn't call just any random person a doctor. They have to know how to be a doctor for you to call them a doctor, right? Logically. So it's the same thing as being a man. You can't just be a man just because you have a penis. That's not how that works. Or because you feel like a man. No, you gotta live up to the standards of a man. Accompanied, obviously, with you biologically be a man, right? Because, like I said, it's the same thing as a smartphone, right? An iPhone isn't an iPhone if it has an Android operating system, right? It has to have an iPhone operating system for it to properly function as an iPhone, for it to be its full potential, for it to truly be an iPhone. Because if I take a Apple sticker and put it on an Android phone, it doesn't suddenly become an iPhone. It's still an Android. It's still a Samsung Galaxy phone. All I did was put a freaking little Apple sticker on it. It doesn't automatically change it into a iPhone. It's still an Android, right? It's still a Samsung. So it's the same thing with being a man. You can't just be like, oh, I'm a man because I'm the male species, so clearly I'm a man. It's like, no. Just like there's a lot of guys, I'm a grown-ass man, yet they act childish, dress childish, think childish. They live childishly. I mean, think about it. When you think about what when you describe a little boy, right? You're going to say, oh, he plays video games. He likes to wear t-shirts with Spider-Man on it. You know, he likes to he likes to he lives with his parents. Um, he barely has any money or has no money because he doesn't have a job, and the list goes on. Like when you describe a child, right, a little boy, and then you look at a grown man, right, a male, adult male, and see those same characteristics, living home with their mom, playing video games, wearing t-shirt, shirts with characters on it, right, and the list goes on. Are you not going to logically think like, you are a lot like the little boy? So could you are you truly a man? Are you truly adult male when you're doing a lot of childish things, right? Now we can be with the idea of like, oh, acting like a child, right? He's like, yeah, he's acting like a child, blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, acting, because we know he's not a child. He's an adult male. We agree with that logically, but the behavior is that of a child. Has childish mentality, childish behaviors. Another thing you'll describe a little boy is he'll get mad. He'll throw a temper tantrum. He might throw things. He might resort to violence, like he'll try to hit you out of anger. So he expresses his feelings, and that's another thing. He'll have feelings, right? He'll express his feelings physically, which he'll try to hit you. If you think of a little boy, that's how they act. So if you see an adult male doing the same thing, wouldn't that constitute that person being like, oh, that's not a man? He got the body of a man. He's an adult male, but mentally and his behavior is childish. So we have a term for that. It's called man-child. He's a man-child, right? Even though man is is the inappropriate term right there. It should be just he's an adult child, right? But you get my point, right? It's like we have terms for these things. We have ways of describing these characteristics, right? These behaviors. That's why we have stuff like narcissism and sociopath, and the list goes on and on. All these different terms. We have these labels to describe things so people can understand. Like, oh, okay, even though this guy is an adult male, he acts and even tries to look like a teenager or a little boy, and he acts like a little boy. So it wouldn't make any sense to call that person a man when their behavior and their mindset is not that of a man, right? So that's why it's important to know the difference between a man and a male. A lot of times, ladies will be complaining about like, oh my God, I dated like 3 men in the past, couple of years, and they were all shitty and toxic and blah blah blah, and all this stuff, and they were immature and childish and blah blah blah. I was like, yeah, you're not describing a man. See, you said you dated men, but those weren't men because you described them as immature, right? And toxic, as in they had negative behaviors, they got emotional. These are things that don't describe a man. These are not the things that go along with my list, right? The 5 things I said. One of the first things I said was emotional control. If they don't control their emotions, they're out here being in their feelings and crying over dumb shit and unimportant shit, getting angry too easy. And that's the thing. Humans have more negative emotions than they have positive emotions. There's a survival reason for it, but that's for another video. But the thing is, we have more negative emotions than we have positive. So that's why it's not a good idea to follow your emotions, to make decisions based off of your emotions, because your emotions are typically negative. So you're going to make a lot of bad decisions because you have bad feelings. So you have to control your negative emotions. When I say emotional control, I'm not talking about make it where you have no emotions, not even happy ones, not even nice emotions, good emotions. No, I'm saying have emotional control so that way your negative emotions does not control you. Your negative emotions don't cause you to hurt somebody, right? Because your positive emotions typically are going to make you Well, a nice person, you're gonna be nice to people. But that's another thing. Don't be too nice, because people will take advantage of you being too nice, right? So don't take your kindness as a weakness. So that's the thing. Understanding how to control your emotions so other people don't control you through your emotions. So that's the thing with the emotion stuff. So like I said, you're not a man if you're out here being emotional. If you're on the internet complaining, uh, you know, that you have that your feelings are hurt, or your mental health, or all that nonsense. That's not what men do. There's guys out here, real men, who don't have these negative emotions, who don't complain about the female gender, who don't even have problems with the female gender like that. Even if they do, they can fix it, because they're what? Number two, problem solvers. If they have a problem with the female gender, they will solve it. We are problem solvers. We're going to find out what's the root of the problem. Why, you know, are the ladies being mean to guys, and try to figure out how to fix that. A lot of times it's, like I was already describing, you probably look and act like a little boy, hey! And because of that, looking and acting like a little boy, don't be surprised that you get treated like a child. And then you get mad, right? Like a child. Oh no, I'm a grown ass man. You gotta respect me. Why you treat me like a kid? Because you look like a child and you act like a child. So it's not a surprise that she treated you as such. If you act like a grown ass man, right? Act like a man, you'll get treated as such. It'd be hard to treat a man like a child if he acts like a man, right? Because then if somebody tries to treat you like a child, even though you act like a man all the time, right? It's going to make them look stupid. It's going to make them look like, okay, they're crazy. Why they're acting this way, or they're talking to somebody this type of way. But if you act like a child, throwing temper tantrums, getting emotional, saying, childish things, doing childish things, and then she calls you out on it, she's like, oh, you're being a child, you're being immature, you're being emotional, insecure, you're playing video games all the time instead of spending time with me, blah, 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 and saying all these things, is like, and basically talking to you like you're, like she's your mother and you're her child, is because you are behaving as such. You're not doing anything manly, or doing anything like a man that would make it hard for anyone to say something. Like, for example, if you don't steal things, no one can call you a thief. If you're not a liar, no one can call you a liar. They could say you're a liar, but there's no proof that you're a liar, right? Especially since you're not a liar, as an example. So people can say, things about you, but if they can't prove it, well, that just makes them a liar, right? So it's very important for you not to prove anybody right about something they say that's wrong, right? So this is why one of the issues that we have with guys out here, right? Lack of skill, lack of logic, right? Lack of intellect. Y'all not out here learning to improve. Y'all out here on TikTok crying and complaining that chicks ain't treating you right, when you should learn how to, one, get them to treat you right? There are guys out here, like myself, real men, right, who get treated very well by the ladies. Do we deal with some chicks that, right off the bat would be disrespectful to us? Yeah. But what we do, we talk. And what happens? They listen. And you know what else happens afterwards? Not going to get into specific details, but things tend to get better afterwards, after they hear what we have to say. What we don't do is get mad, emotional, start name calling, and go out of our way to try to hurt their feelings, which is because it's just going to make them dislike us, right? And the idea is for them to respect us, like us, and get along with us. So if you want someone to respect you, you got to act respectful. You want somebody to treat you nice, you have to act nice. Not act, obviously behave nice. That's what I meant to say. Behave nice. Be for real, be genuine, be a good person, and you will get treated like a good person. Even if you get treated badly, that says more about them than you. Never change who you are. If you're a good person, always stay good. Don't make these excuses. I see a lot of guys out here talking about, yeah, man, I used to be a good man, but these females, man, they changed me. Then you were never a good man, because good men don't change. Especially let me rephrase that. Good men don't change for the worse. Good men will change for the better, yes. We always improve. We always get better. We always evolve. We always get to the next level. This is not our final form. That's what real men do. If you go from being a good person and then starting being a shitty person because of other people, then you were never really a good person. Right? And you don't even respect the idea of being a good person because you gave it up so quickly just to be a bad person. And then you're definitely not tough, right? Tough, like physically, mentally. Right? You can't handle things, right? You can't handle the truth, right? So a lot of y'all get butthurt, even when you're told the truth of like, here's what you need to know about the female, gender. This is what you need to know about life, so you can play the game better, because now you know the rules. You understand how the game of life works. So you should be able to play the game better to win. But instead, a lot of you motherfuckers, I'm gonna say losers, end up complaining and not even wanting to play the game of life. Just start existing, become an NPC. You're just here. You just exist. You don't want to be part of the game. You don't want to level up. You don't want to improve. You don't want to deal with the chicks and this, that, and third. And this is where it leads to the passport bro stuff. Instead of guys getting better at the game of life in America, it's like, nah, I'll just go to another country and see if I can do better there. It's like, damn. Before you were losing, you didn't know why. You get some you take a red pill, right? Get some red pill in you, and now you know why you're not winning. And instead of leveling up and improving it and putting in the work to win at life, you rather leave and hope you can win somewhere else, because you don't want to do things the hard way, which requires you to level up, which requires you to improve and get better. Because you're a loser. That's loser mentality. It's like, oh, I'm losing here. I might as well leave and go somewhere else where I might, have a better chance of winning by being the same. That's the thing. Most of the passport bros, once they leave, they never improved. They never got better. They didn't change who they are. They're just trying to go somewhere else, hoping that who they are is good enough. When they could have just improved. They could have just become better. Like I said, most of you guys are not men. You're little immature boys in adult male bodies. And since y'all don't want to improve, y'all can't lead, y'all can't teach, and being a man is being a teacher, being a leader, being somebody who don't have problems. And when you don't have problems, that means you have solutions, and you should share the solutions. It makes no sense for somebody to teach you about problems, right, or how to deal with problems that they didn't fix themselves. They didn't solve the problem, so why, it's like a math teacher trying to teach you how to do math, right? But they don't even know how to do the math problems themselves. They give you a math problem, expect you to figure it out. You're like, oh, I can't figure it out. Well, since you're the teacher, teach me how to solve this math problem. And then the teacher's like, I don't know how to solve the problem. What? But you're the math teacher. What's the point of you being a math teacher if you can't teach me math? Right? It's just like a guy who doesn't talk to females at all, doesn't date, right? Doesn't interact with them at all, trying to give you advice on how to talk to and date females, right? Date women. It's like, if you don't interact with women, how are you supposed to be giving advice? And there'll literally be guys who try to give advice, not really advice, just make videos saying they're giving advice, and the advice usually is just ignore the female, focus on yourself, make money, go to the gym, go play video games, go do you, don't change for nobody, just be yourself. If people don't like you, that's their problem, and the list goes on and on of all this childish, ignorant stuff. It's like, this is not advice, this is not solutions to these people's problem. Most guys is like, well, I want a girlfriend. And most of these guys' advice out here is, you don't need one. It's better to be alone. Be single. You'll be happier that way. Marriage is bad. Focus on yourself, king, and all that nonsense. Lift weights. make more money, as if that solves the girlfriend problem. It doesn't. It's anti-girlfriend, doing all those things, not for the purpose of getting a girlfriend, but to avoid a girlfriend, to avoid relationships, to avoid marriage. That's childish. That's not a solution. That's literally avoiding the problem, coping, as they like to say. And that's part of the problem we have out here in society, is we have a lot of guys out here and be like, oh, I'm a real man. You know, men, we need peace. That means we need to be alone and do the things we like and nobody around us. That's not peace, and that's definitely not a manly thing to do. That's a worthless thing to do. That's a loser mindset. That's not a man. That's not a man at all. Men build things. Men fix things. Men solve problems. Men use their intellect, their logic, their emotional control to control the world in positive ways, of course, to make things better. The same guys that be talking about the problems of society are the same guys that are supposed to fix these problems, but they don't, because they don't man up, learn how to be a man, fix these problems, and be better. Same guys that complain about that. Oh, men don't have voices. Society is trying to oppress us. They're trying to make us less important. Trying to make us not be in the home no more. And the list goes on and on and on. Woe is me. Boo hoo hoo. Men suffering. Men problems. Men. Got issues. Boo hoo hoo. Instead of solving the problems. Instead of creating things, instead of like, you know what? We're having a lot of problems with police officers doing bad things, hurting people. That's not what they're supposed to be doing. So let's start finding guys who are interested, good quality dudes, good men, right? Real men who can join the police force. And we can slowly start improving the police force and make it where cops are not just shooting people for no reason. Try to make things safer, better, right? That's one way we can improve the whole society. Fix the police force, as opposed to just be like, all right, let's just get rid of the police force and that should solve the problem. No, let's just make it where the police are the way they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be a good thing, something beneficial to society, not be a menace to society while drinking your juice. You know what I mean? Like, if you think the government is bad and it's not doing what it's supposed to do, then y'all join the government. Y'all put in work, effort, and join the government. The funny thing is, a lot of you guys have nothing better to do. Nothing better to do. Some of y'all are like, nah, man, I'm too busy. I can't go, try to be part of the government. I can't be part of the justice system. I can't go, create a multi-billion-dollar company that makes cheap medicine. And this, that, like, yes, you can. You can do all that and should be doing it. You should be working with people and finding other guys. Like, the manosphere definitely should be producing a whole bunch of real men, right, who are going to change the world, who are going to take over, right? Like y'all supposed to. Y'all younger guys, specifically if you guys are in your 20s, y'all supposed to take over. My ass should be retiring, right? I shouldn't be the one who has to fix the world. I shouldn't be the one making videos on how to be a man. It should be you guys in your 20s talking about how to be a man, because you guys already learned how to be a man from your fathers. Or you already learned how to be a man from me already. So I don't have to keep reminding y'all and telling y'all how to be a man. You already would know, and you will try, and you will teach that to the next guy. That's the whole thing about being a leader and a teacher, right? Part of being a man is teaching other guys to be men. So we have more men in the world. They're teaching, leading, making things better, improving things, solving problems, not crying about problems on the internet, but solving them, right? We have the ability to talk and interact and organize and put things together and make things better, fix things, solve problems. There's a lot of problems in this world, yes, and we can fix it because we know that the problems exist. That's the first step to solving an issue, is knowing that there is an issue. The next thing is to solve the problem, not to ignore it, not to complain about it. Definitely don't make thousands and thousands of videos complaining about a problem. Solve it. Solve the problem. And the first problem that needs to be solved is the lack of men in this world. 90% of the male species aren't men. The real men are the ones who are making a difference in this world, the ones who do something and then the world changes because of their actions. This is why we have like history books and you read about these great men of history, right? You know, Nikola Tesla and stuff like that, because of his genius, his capabilities. We have smartphones and electricity and laptops and internet and satellites, cars, even the electric car from Elon, the company's name after Nikola Tesla. So because of one great man, we have all this. Society greatly benefited from that one great man who inspired many other great men, right, to do great things. But y'all motherfuckers out here, man, woe me, men are suffering, men need help. Men are the help, you dumbasses. We're supposed to be the problem solvers. It's like Superman going around crying that he needs people to save him. Oh my God, the building is falling. Somebody stop it. It's like, you're Superman. You catch the building. You're Superman. You have the abilities to solve the problem, but you want somebody else to do it. That's another thing. You're not a man if you expect others to solve a problem. Because like I said, men are problem solvers. So you should be able to solve every problem. Your problems, everybody else's problem. Just like Jay-Z says, 99 problems, but a woman definitely shouldn't be one of them. Right? So you can have a lot of problems that you're going to solve. Every problem you think of, write it down on a piece of paper, right? Make a list of all the problems that you're having, right? That you see are problems. And then that's your to-do list. And start doing things to solve it. Start solving those problems. That's your purpose in life, is to solve those problems. That's the meaning of being a man, is to solve problems. That way you have what? Less problems. And if you have less problems, that means what? You're happy. Life is better. Most of you guys are stressed out, depressed, emotional, because you suck at solving problems. You know, the funny thing about video games is that in order to win at the game, you have to be good at solving problems. The game programmers designed the game to have problems, obstacles, puzzles, things you have to solve in order to progress in the game. And they give you hints and the capabilities to solve those problems. It's rare for you to play a video game where you can't beat the game. Very rare. Because everything you need to beat the game is given to you. The character already has the ability to do everything you need in order to beat the game. Just like you as a man, or the male species, have everything you need to be a man. Everything you need to do great things. But first you got to learn how to be a man. And the problem is you think, oh, I'm a man because you don't have a penis. No, you're not a man. You're a male, and that's it. Until you learn to be a man, you're useless. You're an iPhone without an operating system. And you need to learn to be a man so that we can operate properly, operate at your full potential, your full power as a man. And that's where masculinity comes in. And for females, it's femininity. Hopefully that helps a lot of you guys out there who think you're a man but really aren't finally realize what it really takes to be a man. At least with these 5 things, I repeat them again: emotional control, problem solver, logical, right, being smart, strong or tough, physically, mentally, right, and leadership/teacher. Those 5 things, those 5 categories is what you need at the bare minimum to be a man. Hopefully that is the end of that.